Today we're going to do something that I've been wanting to do for a while, that is a HARM and HTS tutorial. So the goal, this is the BMS training PDF, please pick that up from Falcon Lounge, read it. And also useful, the 34-1-1, the non-nuclear weapons delivery flight manual. So going back here, this is the AGM 88 tutorial training mission. The goal is to destroy SAMs. This mission will be done twice. The first time we're going to focus on pause EOM mode, targeting PPT 57, and then we'll use HARM as a sensor mode, to target PPT 56. And there's only 2 HARMs that you can carry on the jet, so the next time we'll go through, we'll focus on the SA4 with the HTS pod using the HAD page, so that you can read about what the weather conditions are and all that stuff. But we're going to scroll down to this page here where it talks about the data cartridge. So the HARM basically has a computer. It's called the ALIC. So we'll program that 102 into the data cartridge, 202 for the fan song, 402 for the spoon rest, and then 204 and 404 for the pat hand and the long track for the SA4. So you can obviously read through all this, take a look at the MFDs, but I think learning is better visually. So we'll go to the 2D window here. You can see we're in the HARM tutorial training mission. We'll go to the data cartridge. So 01, 0102, 0202, 0204, 0402, and 0404. So 102, 202, 402. Let's do it just like the 102. And all we're going to do, that's going to be in our threat table 1. Talk a little bit more about threat tables later, but we're just going to save that and we'll get right into 3D. Okay, so we are in Korea. The jet's set up, so master arm's on, all the switches are pretty much set, good to go. So what we're going to do is go to the air to ground master mode, we'll go to the SMIS page, SMS, and we'll turn on the AGM 88s. Go back to the HSD while those are powering up. Just expand that a little bit so I can see the SA2 threat rings. Not going to really be using the FCR today, but you can certainly use that to help you find ground targets. We go into the weapons page, so this is going to be the HARM as a sensor mode. In this little square down here, you can slew with your radar cursor. So the HARM here is acting as the sensor. So any threat that the HARM sees, it'll pop up in here. And let's see, what do we have to do next? So let me show you a little bit about these different tables. So you can see HAS is set here. That way we know that was HARM as a sensor. This is going to be position known mode. So I think the tutorial wanted us to fire one of them in position known, and one of them in HARM as a sensor mode. See the steer point fall line? We're just going to put the flight path marker on that, and then we're going to select this SA2 as the pre-planned target for our position known shot. And there's different sub-modes here, so I'm going to go back to the weapon page as my primary. So there's different weapons modes in the position known mode. You have EOM, equations of motion, which is going to be the most accurate shot. If you have already, recon the target and you have exactly where it is, you can use that. If you have some confidence in where it is, in the general area, you can go to pre-brief mode. So that's going to expand the field of view of the HARM a little bit when it leaves the rail. And then the ruck shot. The ruck mode is range unknown. Basically, it's the least accurate shot, but the HARM has the widest field of view as it comes off the rail, so it can pick up targets in a wider area. So I think it's pinky switch. We'll switch between these. So I'm going to hit my pinky switch. It'll switch between the different modes. We're going to be shooting in pre-brief mode because I'm not really sure where this SA2 is. I think it's out here somewhere. So we're going to be shooting this HARM at steer point 57, which is this pre-planned target, that little SA2 ring. in 2D when you right click and say add pre-planned threat. So down here you can see station 3 and 7 are the two stations with the harm on them. And as you see, I hit missile step and it goes to the harm as a sensor. So right here you can see that you can have two different harms set up in two different ways. So you can see my harm as a sensor on the right wing is seeing a 2 acquisition, the spoon rest out there. And I can go up there and select that with TMS up. But we're going to go back to the position known mode. We're just going to fire station 3 at steer point 57. But we're going to want to wait until we get the SA2. So we're going to have to clip this SA2 mez. We're going to have to mez pen in order for this SA2 to light us up. Let me, we're just going to go fly right through here. So what I can do is hand off the 2 tracker, the fan song, to the harm. So you notice how it took a couple of seconds there for the handoff to complete. So that's one thing that you're going to have to be cognizant of, is that you're going to want to wait until you see this flashing box and ready here and ready, or ready there. So you see I go to the 4 acquisition. The harm's not ready quite yet. And now it's ready. Right there, right there. We're going to go back to the 2 tracker. We're going to want to kill this fan song. So let me speed up the simulation here. So we're mez penning at least where we think the fan song is. And the harm is now ready to be fired. So I could fire this harm now, and once the 2 lights up, the 2 has to be radiating in order for the harm to hit it and kill it. I like to live a little bit dangerously, so I'm going to wait until I get some, I get tracked by the fan song. I'm just driving right here into this SA2 wherever the fan song is. And all the symbology up here represents stuff that I'm not going to go over right now. This is a basic tutorial. You can read about that in the manual. But down here it's neat. You can see the harm time of flight. See it's counting down because I'm flying toward it. Alright, so the 2 trackers light me up. I'm going to go ahead and magnum SA2. Then I'm going to beam. I got a missile launch. We're not going to freak out or anything. What we're going to do is we're going to try to beam the SA2. And then I'm going to try to find out where these missiles are coming off at me. Don't see any smoke trails yet. Oh, there's one. There he is. So he's out there. And I believe the SA2 is down. There's the missile, and you can see the burning fan song out there. So we hit him. Alright. For our next shot is going to be in harm as a sensor mode, so you can see my station 7 is already set up that way. So we're going to turn into the second SA2, and you can see its spoon rest is out there. My harm sees it already. And this, in harm as a sensor mode, you can turn on or off certain threats that the harm will look for. And see the scan time is, that's the scan time, not the time of flight. So it's scan 10. So if I go ahead and click search, and I'm going to undo all of these things and just leave the 2 tracker, scan is taking much less time than it used to. So now it's only, the harm as a sensor is only looking for this 2 tracker. So once my RWR sees it, I bet you the harm will start seeing it. And if you wanted the harm to see more threats, you could go ahead and select these threats, or you could switch the tables. TMS left switches the tables, so now I'm on table 2, table 3. Now I'm going to go back to table 1. You can see my harm and my RWR are both picking up this fan song, so I'm going to TMS up on that 2 tracker. I'm going to wait for the handoff to happen. You see it's ready. I'm going to go ahead and fire Magnum SA2. I'm going to beam again. And we can put them into Cat 1. Reset the trim. Try not to get too slow. So there's the missile. If it gets a little too close for comfort.
Shaft flare.
Oh, there's this splash for the Magnum. You can see that 2 is going to miss us now because the 2's not tracking us. But my second fan song is now burning. All the way out there. So that's 2 good hits on fan song. And that is the basics of using HARM as a sensor and position known mode for the HARM. Alright, so we're back in 3D. We're going to try to attack this SA-4. We'll go to air to ground mode, SMS, turn the HARM on, HSD. We'll expand that view a little bit. We're going to go to the HAD page, go to the targeting pod, turn that on. And we are going to fly toward this SA-4. I'll make the HAD a sensor of interest. Now I can slew the parallel bars as my selector, my cursor. And note that you cannot go to the weapon page with the HAD selected or active on this MFD. I can't do anything over here. So we'll leave it on the targeting pod. So I see the long track, the L in my RWR. Go ahead and slow the sim down. And that's the 4 acquisition. And it's got a PGM4, so that's just telling us that it's got, you know, pretty low confidence on that's the actual location of the 4. But as we beam the 4, the HTS pod will get a better solution on where that 4 is, and it'll move. So if I go ahead and select that, the targeting pod's going to slew to where it thinks it is, but it's not going to be an accurate location. PGM3, we're getting a better solution on the 4 acquisition radar, which is the long track. And see how the targeting pod is changing as the solution gets better. I believe it has found our long track. PGM1. A little test here. And notice that it outlines it in a pink box, and then it'll fill that box in when the threat's handed off to the HARM. So we've got the acquisition radar. Not really what I want to shoot right now, but I suppose we can shoot it. We've got 2 HARMs. HARM's ready. I'm going to turn in. Got a good solution on it. Going to be shooting in EOM mode since it's got a good track on where it is. I believe I'm being tracked by the long track now. So Magnum, long track. And then we can see the pat hand decided to show up to play. The 4 tracker, it's a PGM5. So right now it would be shooting it in ruck mode since it's a PGM5. PGM4, let's beam this guy a little bit to get a better solution on him. And I've broken lock. It's outside the field of view of the HTS, it looks like. PGM3 on that pat hand. 4 tracker. Awful close. Turn back in and see if we can shoot that tracker. PGM3. Alright, he decided to show up to play. We'll go ahead and expand. I'm TMS right to select a different target. So the acquisition is in standby. Probably hit it. I think this is the 4 tracker. Wait for the handoff, and we will Magnum. The 4's still tracking us. Go to Cat 1. You can see the smoking long track out there. Assume the pat hand's right next to it. You can see a launch right there. With any luck, we'll have a harm save, so let me go gate and try to defeat this. That's the second harm hit. I believe we have hit this pat hand. Yep, missile looks ballistic. Now we have defeated the SA-4. Looks like we have 2 smoking radars out there. Cool. Alright, and that does it for the HARM attack display with the HTS pod.